Okay. How about we get this started, eh? Hello. This episode is so satisfying to finish, let me tell you. Very, very satisfying. It's taken, what, almost like 4.5 weeks to do? But we're in for a fun 5 minutes, let me tell you. We are getting really close to being finished with Season 2, and since we have a few minutes, going to just talk a little bit about episodes 9 and 10 of Season 2, which, as you can see right here, I'm starting to work on episode 9, just the audio files. I have this full blast. I wonder if anybody could hear me, actually. Okay. So that's turned down. Like I said, just starting to assemble the audio, the voiceovers for episode 9. And what I'm thinking about doing the next time we live stream premiere an episode, I believe it's going to be a double feature. I believe I'm going to complete episodes 9 and 10 at the same time for Season 2. And so that way they're just both done, and then that way I can get to animating and getting Season 3 animated and completed. Because the goal was, and I keep on repeating this, but the goal was to have Season 2 all released by the end of last year. So I am way, way over my target date. So yeah, that's the plan. So yeah, next time we live stream premiere, so it might take a little bit longer to do the editing, since I'll be editing 2 episodes, but we'll just live stream them both. Hopefully by my target date will be like beginning to middle of April. So getting started. For the cast list, Karak the Elementalist is voiced by Mr. Charles Johnson. The Prime Air Elemental, voiced by Aiden Wolfson. Charlie Tooth is known as Toothpick, Mr. Tyler Fine. And then we have a debut of the Prime Water Elemental for this episode. Who's voiced by Morgan Wolfson. This is her first time voice acting for an episode. So yay, this is her premiere that night. And then Kelda, the Kyrie Warrior, voiced by Rachel Averin. Mariko, voiced by Shaylin Fortuna. And Sujua, voiced by my son, Jose Belkin. So with that, how about we get started? Let's start this. Okay, so title. Just gonna lower this volume a little bit. Here we go. So this is basically not immediately after the fight scene from the last episode where they're encountering those spiders, but it's a little bit of time after. You know, Mariko and Toothpick, they've traveled a distance. Now they're looking for the water elemental on their own, and then of course Karak has to come into the scene because he was in the area as well, transported there, of course, off scene. But he's confronting them, and so Mariko is confronting him, and basically giving Toothpick the way to find the water elemental, trying to stop Karak. And this little dialogue of Karak and Mariko is very interesting. Karak seems to have, he's not just an over-talking bad guy, which he is. He seems to have a little bit of an understanding when it comes to some of his enemies, and kind of an evil type aristocratic wisdom. And you'll notice that, I mean, he tempts Mariko a little bit, because he can, either he knows about or he recognizes that element of mischief within Mariko, even though she's very disciplined and she doesn't let it out. There is that little element of that, you know, she could turn, which is why he gives her a little bit of a chance to be like, hey, you know, come join me, can make you more powerful, but she refuses. These special effects took about, oh my goodness, for this whole episode, Took about 3.5 weeks to do. And then the rest of the episode was easy, just assembling all the audio effects and stuff, music and stuff together. Didn't take as long, but these special effects, I mean, I had never done most of these before, constructed most of these before, so it took some time. And by the time I got done with it all, I'm just like, I'm not worried about tweaking. I'm just gonna, it's gonna be what it is. I'm always happy how this turned out with how the elemental just appears in the same space as the character it's part of or embodies. And that's just, it's the simplest type of technique as well. That's used for animating, and it works so well in these scenes. And here is the water elemental making its appearance. My goodness, Mariko is not having a good time. She's quick, but not quick enough. I love how Kelda comes in here and saves the day, though. Spoiler! So there's just a little bit of fighting between Karak and Kelda, showing that Kelda can hold her own against magical beings if she so chooses. But Karak already is infused with fire elemental, so that kind of gives him an edge. My favorite part of that supernova effect is just all the sparks falling on the ground there. And here we go, the elementals using their power. Bam! And they really should have not paid attention to Karak after this. That was kind of a bad move on their part. Just assume Karak was going to stay lying down after that.
We don't have much time.
Boom. And so we got both those heroes down now. And now Karak can have his way with the elementals, and he has this type of extracting power that once he connects with an elemental, they're powerless to do anything. They're caught under a spell, just basically paralyzed. The same with Toothpick, since Toothpick is symbiotic with the air elemental, he's connected in the same way, so he can't do anything either. And then, another surprise at the very end, Sujo appears. Toothpick's like, oh no, more trouble. And that's the end of that episode. And so we can basically call this done here. Like, bring back up the music. Thank you everybody for watching. As always, I'm going to sign off by saying, for those of you who are watching this live stream, or this recorded live stream on the YouTube channel, this is the edited down version of what's usually a half hour to an hour live stream. And especially for this premiere event, it's more like probably like 20 minutes to a half hour, although we extended a little bit by watching the episode a few times. So if you're on the Tales of Valhalla YouTube page watching the edited version, there is a link below or something on the screen that will take you to our Conductor Productions page, which will have this live stream in its most of entirety, with me talking about everything and anything. So with that, thank you, and have a good night, and see you guys next time we live stream. Later.